All right, so next activity can be looking at how to balance your checkbook, but this time with a bank statement, making sure that your balancing is correct with your statement. Oftentimes, banks will give fees and or maybe even pay you interest or give you money or whatever else that you're not aware of. And so sometimes your money at the end of the month won't quite balance out the way you think. And so the idea here is you need to make sure you're reading your monthly statement. Now, again, just like before, I imagine that most people are probably going to be using their monthly statements on the phone or in an internet website rather than looking at ones on paper. A lot of people still do get paper invoices or balances, but a lot of companies, banks are starting to go paperless and starting to do everything digital or on the internet website, etc. But it's important to make sure you are checking your bank account often, or at least getting a notification on your phone or whatever it is, to kind of let you know what's going on with your account. Yeah, there's sometimes where banks will actually give you money, called interest. Sometimes they'll take money away and charges or transaction. So if you look here, very first thing you want to make sure you're looking at your actual account. What is your account number? What is the dates are we looking for here? Again, it should have some kind of totaling system, like how much money went in, how much money went out. So a deposit is in, a withdrawal is out. Services, other charges, and yes, they do charge you sometimes for using their bank or services. You can also look at checks that you've written here, 100, 181. You can look and see that, oh, we're missing something here. Maybe something hasn't gone through yet, and that happens, especially if you actually do write an actual check. Is you'll mail it off, and it might not get cashed for a month or two. You have to make sure you're balancing it. You have to make sure you are aware that you wrote that check and that you still have money for it. Okay, so if you write a check for $500 and a month later you only have $400 in your account, that check could get cashed, then you're going to get a lot of fees, and person who got the check might even give you more fees on top of that. So making sure you always know what checks you've written or where your money is going, or if you schedule your money to be gone with auto pay, you got to make sure you have your money in your account in order to avoid overdraft fees and things like that. So you should also see stuff like all your withdrawals, all your deposits, where your deposits came from, the date. All that information should be part of your banking statement. And so, what I'm going to ask you to do today is just like before. I'm going to ask you to record all the information on here. And if you look, there are 6 checks that we're going to write here. Okay. We're also going to look at some withdrawals for ATM. So you need to record all the things um, on your little checkbook that you have on there. You also need to record your deposit. Now, thing to watch out for though is that not everything is in order by date. You see that the dates are kind of out of whack here. So when you go to record your information, make sure you're recording them in chronological order on there. Okay. All right. So just like before, you're going to get your little checkbook, you're going to copy it and paste it into the text box, and then you're going to start recording your information. So you'll want to make sure you start with your previous balance. So here's your previous balance, 612.04. So that should be the very first number that you write in your checkbook, is to make sure you know how much money you had when you started. And then guess what? This already tells you your final balance right there. So after you do all your transactions, you should be adding and subtracting all those numbers to get that final number right there at 883.97. Okay, so record those in your checkbook, and then you got about 10 questions, 10, 11 questions I want you to answer after that. All right, as always, if you guys have questions, don't hesitate to ask.